Good morning, gentlemen.
Good
I
morning.
hope you're well. Would you care to introduce each other, please?
So, I'm the host. So, I'm the managing director of the Hotel du Cap. My name is Philippe Père, and my second hat is the development for the Oetker Collection. And I've been with the Oetker Collection now for almost 20 years, and very proud to manage this amazing property. And I'm sitting here with Philippe Queffelec.
Yeah, I'm Philippe Queffelec. I'm just the chairman of SPARFELL Aviation Group, based in Geneva and Vienna. We are involved, of course, in private jet, and so I'm very pleased to be here with Philippe to explain a bit about our cooperation.
Thank you very much. So let's begin with our first question today. Travel more than ever is luxury. What does it represent to you at this moment?
You know, luxury, it's, for me, it's synonymous to experience. I think luxury, travel luxury, it's a tailor-made, should be a tailor-made experience, and you know, should in a way answer the needs of our customers, which are in a way very different from you know, one client to the next. That's why I say tailor-made, because you know, a guest could enjoy a first-class cabin when traveling to Nice, but another guest would prefer to sit on a private plane, which is probably why we are here today, you know, very pleased to have developed together that partnership. I think it's yes, it's how you can best, in a way, deliver a service which is aligned with the expectation of that particular guest. So it goes from, obviously, you know, the way the person travels from A to B, but that's only the first part of the experience. I think, you know, what happens next when the person arrives in that particular destination, and here is Nice, how you take care of that person, that group of person. So, and what I like about the idea of you know, having that partnership with SPARFELL is that we can really start that experience not at the door of the aircraft here in Nice, which is what we can do today with our meet and greet service, our limousine service. The experience starts at the door of the home of the guest, and then over to you, because you know, we can today happily speak about a great service level at the doorstep of the guest home, and I think that's for me exceptional. In a way, it's a dream, because you start the Oetker Collection experience through the SPARFELL great level of service when the guest opens his door.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Queffelec?
Well, let's make a bit of history. I started traveling with my parents. My father was a captain, and in this time luxury was something quite different from today. Very few people were able to fly because, of course, of the cost, and the aircraft were only capable to do a long range, maybe with 60 passengers or no more. And then, of course, it was really, you feel really privileged to fly, and it was a real adventure and with a luxury atmosphere. And then later on, you know, came the jumbo jet with the mass travel. Indeed, the only last bird representing for me the luxury in commercial aircraft was the Concorde. Unfortunately, you do know that Air France killed the birds.
And where does this passion come from?
Well, you know, as I say, my father was a captain, and I born in aviation, where I was a kid trained in the cockpit of DC-3 cockpit, trying to see something, and of course it was a time where reliability of of the aircraft were very poor. So I started flying myself with passion for gliders and after fixed wing, but my real passion came from the time where I saw the first time an helicopter hovering on the beach in a Comoros island. And then I realized that this strange machine was really fascinating. And I started really to be a pilot and test pilot as well with McDonnell Douglas, with an Otar, McDonnell helicopter. And then, well, I beat the world speed records, and I was, you know, in Farnborough Air Show doing demonstration routines. And then, well, you know, it's in my blood. I mean, really, that came from the early stage of my life with my father in Madagascar. Yeah.
Thank you for your story. And Mr. Père, how did this collaboration come about?
So, you know, Philippe Queffelec and I started to talk about it in a way a different project. That was about, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. Very exciting project to have a Oetker Collection plane and to travel from one property to the next. And I love the idea, you know. It's just that, you know, that project, I mean, the idea, not the project, but the idea probably came up, you know, not at the right time, because we had many hotel projects, you know, to deal with at the time. The São Paulo property, which we opened in 2017, we had the Eden Rock Embarked, we had the Lanesborough in London, and all these projects, you know, were managed within, you know, a time frame of 2 years. So to add, you know, that wonderful idea on my desk was a little bit, you know, challenging. The context of the COVID-19, unfortunately, you know, we are all going through a very difficult time, but sometimes when you go through challenges, you realize that there are opportunities that, you know, arise. And, you know, our travel partners in the United States, in Europe, have clearly said that, you know, guests are traveling more and more private because of that, you know, sanitary crisis we are all going through. And obviously it was obvious, I wouldn't say obviously it was obvious, but obviously the idea came up again, crossed my mind, that we could speak again and you know, discuss a partnership with SPARFELL. And I reached out to Philippe and to Edouard, his son, and after a couple of meetings, you know, we agreed that that partnership could be developed. And I would say that we were pretty fast, because in 6 weeks, you know, we put together a very simple proposal that could, you know, could answer the needs of our guests. And you know, on their side and on our side, I must say that we are extremely pleased with, you know, what we came up with. And I hope, and I'm sure, it's the beginning of a great partnership and a great story.
Thank you very much. So you would say that there are many similarities between Oetker Collection and SPARFELL. You are in two different businesses, but we feel that now they have both collided and they are the similar end of a certain type of luxury, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the service level, it's, you know, perfectly aligned what a guest would expect in this property or in one of the Oetker Collection properties is similar to, you know, what they would expect with SPARFELL is you know, being able to anticipate the needs of the client, tailor-made proposal. I mean, I'm sure that the guest sitting on the plane would sip a nice bottle of wine if the person likes white wine, or if the person prefers champagne, there will be a nice whatever brand of champagne. I think that we can really custom make the the experience in both a private plane and a hotel, and the two are completely connected. There should be a seamless experience from the moment they start that travel experience, as I said, at the doorstep of the guest home, and arrive here or even depart here. I would say it's similar on the way back. They are taken back home or to another destination with, I hope, a SPARFELL private jet. And it's seamless, it's tailor-made from A point to a B point. What is very important is that the quality of the service that we provide is consistent throughout, that experience.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Queffelec, from a more technical point of view, how would you see the benefits for your clients?
I mean, the first duty for SPARFELL is, of course, safety for the customer. As you do know, we took over the Niki Lauda company called Lauda Motion Executive one year ago. Unfortunately, he left us. But meaning that we have the highest technology, and we now, with Oetker, want to have the service we correspond really to the spirit of Oetker Collection people. In the past, we have been awarded to be the official transport for Royal family for Royal Buckingham Palace, and we were doing all the tours for His Royal Highness Prince Charles. And of course, that was a recognition for us of our good services and the higher standard of safety. So today, I'm very proud to be with Philippe here and to start this partnership, because we feel that we have the best of the world. I mean, technologically, we have the best because we have a rally with Niki heritage, something fantastic on the safety side. And of course, with the Oetker Collection as a customer since more than 20 years now, I know that is the highest standard in the hotel industry. And I'm not sure I can say industry because it's nothing to see with industry, but I mean really, so it's really a combination of what is the highest standard in luxury in hotels in the world. For me, there is no doubt that on the first step, of course you find the Oetker Collection, and then of course for our duty to bring to their customers, our clients, with the highest standard and safety. This is my view of the cooperation.
Thank you. And on a parallel note, do you think that travel will evolve with the current situation?
Yeah, I think, I'm very sad for the general industry, for aviation, of course, for hotels, but I must say for the private jet activity it's an opportunity as well. I'm very sorry to say that, but today you have, of course, not really any choice for the airlines. Very few flights, very few opportunities. But I think probably the low cost will suffer quite dramatically. I mean, really the higher standards like British Airways or Singapore Airlines, they will have always customers, and because people, trust them. But I think the way to travel change. I think to go from Barcelona to Geneva for 30 euro, I'm not sure that this will be more popular in the future. So yes, for private jet, I should say that it's here an opportunity to demonstrate that we can provide a service door to door, and that's my feeling.
Okay, and on this level, we have seen that with the situation, the environment has not suffered so much, and it has been a great time for our planet. So we were wondering, for both of you, Mr. Queffelec and Mr. Per, if you had any matter towards the environment, and if you were doing anything in particular for it.
I mean, our CSR commitment for now almost 10 years has been very clear, and not only for the Hotel du Cap in Rock, but for the collection. I would say 2020 will not be a year to forget, but a year to remember. And I had that discussion with a very loyal guest of mine yesterday, just yesterday afternoon. And he said, Philip, it will be a year to remember. And he's right. You know, the example of our partnership, a year to remember, because as I said, there are many opportunities that arise when you go through challenging times. With the environment, for sure that COVID-19 crisis has clearly proven that, you know, the planet is suffering, because when there is no pollution, I would say the planet is greener. So, on the other hand, we must have people traveling, because in our industry, without people traveling, we cannot operate, we cannot survive. It's very important that travelers and guests understand that they can, you know, offset and make sure that that carbon footprint that in a way increase with the travel experience is offset by a contribution towards, you know, human beings that are living today in a very difficult situation. And we have 2 or 3 opportunities that we are exploring, you know, with Philippe Queffelec and his team. And I think it would be wonderful, you know, to make every guest that check out or check in contribute to, you know, making the life of others better. And I can happily say that before the end of the year, we would have committed with that association, and yeah, it would be, I think, a huge plus for Oetker Collection and for SPARFELL.
Thank you. And what is your take on this, Mr. Queffelec?
Well, I think let's be direct first. I mean, you know that aviation always has a negative image if you're speaking about pollution or whatever. I just want to remind the people that aviation is just 2% of the global pollution. That's first. And on this 2%, 0.2 are meaning the private jet, the private aviation. And then as well to say that we are not putting an aircraft in flight just to make it fly like a low cost for 10 flights a day for the same destination, even if it's empty. We're just going on the demand. So that's very important to remind to the people that we are really very concerned, but we are just flying on demand, and this is important. Since I born, I've always been, I care about, of course, the environment. I was, as I say, as a kid living in Madagascar, and in the time where it was really not like today. Unfortunately, today, of course, we see a lot of damage on the planet. And you know, we're working in a moment on a special program, and we are speaking about that with, of course, Philippe. And we will announce that in due times. But what I only can say is looking about the water issue around the planet. So we will do that and tell that in due times anyway.
Thank you. And to jump back to the beginning of your answer, we would love to know exactly what kind of planes do you have and the more technical aspect of your services.
Yeah, it's a good question. We have a fleet which correspond to any needs, really. We have the small jet for Europe or for domestic flights with 6-7 passengers, like a Phenom 300, to give an example. We have mid-size aircraft where you can have 10 people and with more range, like a Challenger 350s or this kind of machines. And at the top hand, we do have the longest long-range aircraft and a more magnificent one, because we do operate the Gulfstream 650ER and as well the Bombardier 7500. These birds are capable to fly from Europe to Australia direct, so with 14 passengers. So This is, and we are now working on the new project with the Airbus, long-range Airbus. So this will be announced as well in due time. But this is more or less, but corresponding to any needs that a customer may need. Yeah.
And in what way, Mr. Pell, could this be useful to you?
I think what Philippe has said is very important, because we have and we've had for decades, families traveling together, and we sometimes see 4 or 5, bedrooms or accommodations reserved, for that family stay purpose. So of course, to offer our guests the possibility to travel together in an aircraft that can, accommodate 12 to 14 passengers, it's just perfect. It would be a shame to split the group in two, you see.
Yes, I understand. Thank you very much for that. And on a lighter note, we would love to know what would be your dream trip at the moment.
The dream trip, it's obvious that, it should start with a SPARFELL, travel experience. And that aircraft should jump from one Oetker property to the next. That would be today the dream trip, because we are so fortunate to have amazing properties around the world. And, resort hotels, city hotels, and really to make this connection from one destination to the next with a SPARFELL experience, knowing what, the quality of service SPARFELL offers, it's definitely a dream trip that I would love to experience.
Thank you. Mr. Queffelec?
Yeah, it's true that we have a project on around the world flights in a luxury atmosphere, of course. But my dream today is just in my dream, because I took my helicopter from Geneva, fly to Cannes, arrive in Cap d'Antibes. So this is a dream for me. So, well, my best dream is this one.
Well, thank you very much. We'll end on that note. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Queffelec, what are the biggest challenges you face in your everyday industry?
Well, for us, I think is why we feel exactly the same with Philippe. The challenge is to find the team will really subscribe to your spirit, to the loyalty to the customer, to this family spirit. And I think that is a real challenge, but we're very lucky enough to find the people for that. But it's very difficult. And this is, I think, to recruit the people are today one of the most difficult challenge. But I think you do the same, you do have them.
For sure. I mean, the right people make the difference, in your industry, in our industry. It's not easy to say to people, welcome home, because, you could say in any property, welcome home. But that home feeling in the Oetker Hotel, Oetker Collection hotel, it's extremely important, and it's felt by our guests. I think we share, I think we said it, the same values, but that value around the family spirit, it's essential. Not only we owned by, the Oetker family, Philippe and his family also, developed and owned that great brand, SPARFELL, and it's very important we are able to do that because we have the right people. They are, of course, well trained, but it's not only about training. It's about the way you educate them to understand what we are looking for and what our guests expect. And that's why I think the partnership between these two great brands was so obvious right from the beginning.
I would add something is a lot of competitors are just owned by financials guys, just playing monopolies. I buy that, I sell that, and we are different from this because we are a family business, even on a very large scale, like of course Oetker Collection. But this is quite different, and I mean we are really in a world where finance people think that finance is everything, they can play whatever, but really, I mean the spirit of a place like Oetker Collection or spirit of SPARFELL, I mean, it's quite different. And I think this is what we offer to really to our customer, both our group. And this is important for me.
So if I get this right, it's a long-lasting promise of feeling at home.
Yes, exactly. And well,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
thank you.